So, in terms of my own direct connection with James Hillman, he started to come to Pacifica on a regular basis in the early 1990s, and by the time I was teaching, it was at least once every 2 years for a month or so. And so he would come into the classroom and we would get to know him in that way. He'd hold seminars and so forth. But the specific way we began to work together, which was around this volume of Senex and Puer writings, this is the Uniform Edition, Volume 3. um, I had written a paper for the 2000 Archetypal Psychology Conference at the University of Santa Barbara. And it was a little bit of a critique of the Puer emphasis in archetypal psychology. So it wasn't a critique that was sort of an attempt to radically dismantle anything. It had a constructive intention. But when Hillman read that paper, he wrote to me and he kind of grumbled and took issue with a few things. But out of that exchange of correspondence came his invitation to work with this material, which has a significance in the sense if you read the introduction to Myth of Analysis, he mentions there that he had intended for years to have a book on this theme of Senex and Puer, but he wasn't able to complete it for some reason. So it did take a while. So we went backwards and forwards over several years because he very much liked to revamp his essays, and he wanted me to make some editorial decisions which were difficult, like breaking up that enormous first essay of the volume. So we got to know each other in that way. But one of the ironies, and I mentioned this in the introduction, is that his puer spirit of wanting to make everything kind of fresh and alive, that was all the way through. And meanwhile, I'm thinking about the historical record and the importance of kind of consolidating the work. So in a sense, we played out the Puer and Senex roles between us. Of course, the irony being, here he is 40 years or so my senior, and I'm the one doing the Senex thing.